All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, sisters of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. And I thought that I would come on here this morning and have a discussion with you about society and the era that we find ourselves in. Not only society, but in this little short video here this morning, I do want to speak on paradigms, shifts, somewhat of a trend that we all seem to be experiencing. Very few people are actually speaking about it. They may, echo it and talk about it in some form, in some sentiment. You understand what I mean? But as best as they can articulate it. But I want to try my best for those of us who are believing. I want to try my best to get us to really truly understand this seismic shift that's taking place. The Christian era has had its run, and the resurgence of paganism and the gods is surfacing again. And of course, Hollywood has a lot to do with this, because you look at all the movies nowadays, all the movies genders to some gods. Thor, Odin, the place of rest that people allegedly want to go to, that the pagans continue to keep promoting, Elysium, Valere. You can go on and on and on. And of course, this is causing a society that is already in a moral decline, a spiritual decay, to question the social order of the day. We live in a world that everything is under question. Everything is in question right now. And of course, society, civilization, it's ran by laws and rules. We're supposed to be able to gauge their society or their civilization by the Constitution. But there seems to always be some form of human opinion inserted into all of our lives to try to dictate and mandate for us how we should have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Fundamentalists in thought, in life, they love rules. They love rules. And the reason why they love rules, because rules to them is based on life and the institutional paradigm of society, to where we can actually have some form of control. All right. We're watching everything change right before our very eyes. So what are the righteous to do? And who defines what that righteousness is? Conscious is a very, very deep thing in itself. It really, truly is. Rational biblical theology, it's all but being thrown out the window. And of course, we have to understand or comprehend things that have taken place within this generation before we can even begin to see where we're going. And somebody has to articulate it. Somebody needs to say it. Away from all the noise, away from all the rhetoric, away from all the mudslinging and name calling. We're watching laws change based on the opinion of men. We're watching the institution of family that has already been under attack for a long, long time. And everybody has in their mind what they believe to be that institution should be. I'll tell you what we're going to do here just for a moment. If you would endure me just for a moment here. I have a copy, I keep it on my desk, of the Constitution of the United States of America. And of course, we know that the Supreme Court has made rules, or made a law, or at least pass it into law. I didn't think that they could actually, I thought they could give an opinion on law. But, as I found out, through experience that judges make up law as they go. They don't really truly care about the law. And of course, you have to understand the system believe you and I are nothing more than mindless minions. So with that said, let's read the First and the 14th Amendment, and then I'll explain to you why that I've read it. All right. And please listen to me. I understand, I comprehend very well that you have other things that are more important to do in your life than to listen to Pastor Dow. I am just asking just for a moment and space of time, of your time, if you can just stop what you're doing just for one moment and really truly try to absorb or at least listen to what I'm saying and then give it some careful thought. I understand that thinking is a very painful thing, and then sometimes it causes people to have headaches, and most people don't want to experience headaches because we are in a life of ease. But just try to listen to me this morning, okay? All right. I'm going to read the First and 14th Amendments of the Constitution, and then, because after all, I'm going to explain why, but then after all, think about this. After all, this is supposed to be the foundations of the social order in which we find ourselves in society, all right? Because a society is a place that's supposed to be ruled by laws. And what's amazing to me is society has well over 3 million laws on the book, and they continue to keep adding more and more and more and more as the years go by. And most people are having a hissy fit over the 613 laws in the Torah that was given to the Israelites. And they were responsible for putting this information out to the world. And of course, all those 613 laws don't apply. There's laws for women, laws for men, but then there are laws as a nation that does apply, or apply, excuse me. All right, the First Amendment of the Constitution says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Okay, I'm going to stop for a moment, because what if you live in a society where fundamentalists have infiltrated high offices and become judges, and now they are making laws as they go, and they're setting precedents as they go? What do you do then? Because now you don't have the Congress making laws, you have judges making the law. And I guess it's something to be said to understand the judicial branch, the executive branch, and the legislative. But we are not, that's not the scope of this particular video right now. And I'm going to go ahead because I have a lot of thoughts run through my head, and I'm going to try to stay the course and not keep you too long. But let's try this again. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievance. All right, now let's go to the 14th Amendment. Listen very closely. Amendment 14, Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges, all right, or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any persons of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Now, I read you Section 1. The 14th Amendment actually has 4 sections. And if you want to know what they are, then you go ahead and read the rest of it, because it's quite lengthy. And I didn't want to spend all this time, just on the amendments in itself, but I just wanted to go over a few things and touch on a few things here for a second. All right. So now let's think about this for a second. Those of us who remember the 60s, during the Vietnam War era. The feminists was touting and shouting and saying, you know, war is the fault of men. And the way that we can actually get rid of war, this was a statement that they actually made, is to stop raising young boys as men. What we need to do, the feminists said, is raise boys like girls. Well, the feminist movement at that time was this big. Now it's really big in scope. As a matter of fact, it's probably ruling 80% of the thoughts that are going on in our society today. And what has been taken away from us is what I believe to be the natural order of things. The patriarchal rule, masculinity, testosterone. And that's the reason why a lot of women hate me, because I'm a man. Not only do I speak like a man, I act like a man, and I live like a man, and I speak like a man. And they get offended. They get offended. But I thought that I have a right, since I'm born in the United States of America, to pursue life and liberty the way that I see fit. I mean, I'm not over here messing with them, so why are they opinionated concerning me? And now we've had this moral decline, this spiritual bankruptcy that we all experiencing in this world right now. We're watching men be emasculated, and we're watching a metamorphosis taking place. We're watching things that are males, but they're functioning like females today. And I don't know about you, but I have rights too. I feel very slighted, offended, and uncomfortable. You know, when you're in a mall or something like this, or you're in a store, and you can feel eyes peering down on you. It's like it's some type of connection in the spirit. You can feel eyes peering down on you. And you turn over to your left and you look and see that there's this thing that kind of looks like a woman, but on closer examination, it's a man. Now, what happens in my heart and mind, I get highly offended and upset. And I literally want to do something about it, but I understand that we are in civilization. And mind you, I've got a few digressions going here. And it's amazing, that type of spirit that goes on. But what really truly is under attack more than anything is that the United States of America, by the powers that be, kind of like what the Georgia Guidestone says, it's an attack against the reproductive order and strategy of today. You see, we're not going to be able to go from one generation to the next generation if everybody is gay. Or like California says, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and Q, meaning question. And that question is, if you hadn't figured out what you want to be, then you go out and experience, and then you make a decision from there. And we're watching Sodom and Gomorrah happen right before our very eyes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in the least bit discouraged whatsoever at all. I'm actually encouraged. And the reason why I'm encouraged, because it would be something if the Bible didn't call it and did not tell us exactly what was going to transpire and take place. Because you see, we live in an era where we must experience a social decline. And that's what we experience. The social order and everything. Everything's going to be turned upside down. The things that were right, they're now wrong. And the things that are wrong, it's now right. And so we have to go the way of Sodom and Gomorrah in order for the return of the Messiah. Now, most people don't believe in the return of the Messiah. Most people say that a man that dies and raises again, they will call him a zombie. And you got to be very careful what you're listening to nowadays. And because, you know, what we know as the natural order of family is all but facing literal extinction, if you understand what I mean. We're about to be extinct. And of course, what I saw, or what I see with the Supreme Court ruling, is twofold. The ruling, I'm trying to find the words to put it that will make it easy to understand. The ruling tried to say and tout it's about religious freedom, but the truth is, it's about cutting down the population of the world. It's about reproduction. And the only thing that can save reproduction when you have, listen to me for a second, men dying by war, the Cancer Society and all these other societies with these different diseases and pestilence that are going on in the world today, they don't have answers for them. So people are dying by war, they're dying by disease. And then you take those two along and there's not going to be too much reproduction in order to keep civilization going. Then you have incarceration and prisons. There are more prisons in the United States of America than in communist China. You have to ask yourself, who's communist now? All attack. And then you have the lesbian, the gay, the bisexual, and the transgender. You know, all this is an attack on social order. And they want what they call freedom. But those of us who want to continue on with the biblical family, and most of you really truly don't know what that is. You have in your mind what you think biblical family is. And then you have drugs. And I can go on and on and on. Then you have people dying on the streets over and over and over again. I can go on and on about what's really truly happening. We're watching the harvest being ripened. We're watching all the paganism and everything that the Christian era had accomplished by stamping out witches, warlocks, paganism, all that. We're watching the resurgence of it. And the movies are cramming religion down your throat, whether you like it or understand it, not paganism. You're getting gag orders now. You can't even function in this life anymore, any longer. What you know, if you're not with the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender question or agenda, then you are a cancer to their world. The only thing that I can see that's going to preserve the family is going to be polygyny. That's it. And I really believe that the Supreme Court's ruling, like I said before, I stated once they pass the law that gay people can marry, is going to open the door wide open for everything else. And some of them did that strategically, thinking that, okay, good, we ain't going to stop it. And they want to get licensed, and so therefore they want to be under the control of the state. The people who believe in biblical lifestyle, or biblical marriage, the worst thing you can do is actually go out there and come under the control of their license and be regulated by them. Because then they will be your God, and you don't want that. We're being assaulted, and we're being forced to comply to this world. Is there anything that we can do as the righteous? I mean, does our faith limit us to just wait for Yah to come and rain down fire and brimstone? What's going to be the judgment? The conventional instruments of reform and reconstruction have literally failed to preserve societal norm. we are going from bad to worse, and it's not going to get any better. The faith is literally facing extinction. We are a dying breed in this world. Sodom's judgment was complete, total destruction and annihilation. You ask me, is there going to be a revival here in America? No. America is slated and is in the crosshairs of the Most High to be destroyed by fire. Because fire is the only thing that can purge, and once fire touches something, it cannot remain in its present state. That's where we find ourselves at. The house is crumbling, and then for those of us who believe in the institutional foundations of biblical family, we're going to preserve dignity, honor, and respect and morality within ourselves, outside the scope of people making laws without Congress. Now, mind you, I really truly don't care what laws Congress makes. I have my property. Leave me alone. I'm happy. I personally do not care. I really truly don't. I don't care what you do in your private time. I don't care what you do in your private life. I really don't. But if you're going to be a Hebrew Israelite, you're going to have to find the people, as few as we are. You're going to have to find the people who say they believe that book. And the powers that be are watching people who are in religion literally destroy each other through opinion. And now we have a bunch of people who are not authorized to speak for us as a community, as a nation, speaking. And they're bringing a bad slant on us. I wouldn't blame people for not wanting to become, I guess the new religion now is Israelite. Everybody wants to be an Israelite since they can, since the blinders been taken off their eyes and they stop looking outside the lenses of Christianity and society, and they're able to see the word Israel in the Bible all over the place. Now everybody wants to be Israel. Everybody wants to be Israel, but nobody wants to change and conform to what this book says. And that's the problem that we find ourselves in today. I think I've said enough. I probably have confused more people than anything. Have a good day.